movie. Maybe James Dean in Rebel Without a Cause. She remembered watching the movie with her grandmother back before Granny died. From that day forward, Daisy Odell had been attracted to bad boys, and that had been her downfall. For the first time, she seriously considered breaking the rules and taking a man through the door into her apartment at the back of the honky-tonk. She shook her head to remove the crazy notion. The man could be a serial killer or a drug pusher. Hell, he could be worse than either of those two things. He could be married. She blushed scarlet. She'd been ogling the stranger rudely. His straw hat had somehow found its way to the bar in front of him, and she wished she could pick it up to fan her scorching face. Not that it would have helped a whole hell of a lot. The way her hormones were overreacting, she could have melted ice on the North Pole in December. Why did that dark-haired, broad-chested cowboy give her hot flashes? Maybe it was because when she felt him collapse on her for a microsecond, she felt as if they'd just finished a hot bout of sex. She reached up and rubbed the back of her head to see if there were bumps or indentations. Something had to have knocked every bit of sense out of her brain. She couldn't find a bump or a sore spot, so maybe he'd rattled her hormones instead of her brain cells. "Is this a help-yourself bar, or is there a bartender somewhere out there?" He motioned toward the dance floor. He thought about asking her for a dance, maybe as an apology for knocking her down. Anything to touch her again and see if the jolt that shot through him was something other than a free fall to the dance floor. She hopped off the bar stool. "Guess that would be me. I was on my way back to the bar when we collided." Her heart kept up a steady beat in her ears like the drums in Garth Brooks' band. Jarod drew his heavy, dark brows down in disbelief. Surely she was teasing. That exquisite woman couldn't be the bartender. She looked as though she might be the newest up-and-coming country singer taking a break from the stage. He glanced around the room and saw only 2 jukeboxes, no stage in sight. As she made her way behind the bar, located at the whole length of the back wall of the honky-tonk, she shook her head hard enough to send her dark brown ponytail swinging. It didn't work. She was still picturing him naked, except for scuffed-up cowboy boots and maybe the hat. Good grief, she had to get control of her thoughts. She had a bar to run, and he was most likely one of those rare strangers who was just passing by and stopped for a cold beer on a scalding hot night. The jukebox rattled the walls with Toby Keith's booming voice singing, "I Love This Bar." It was Daisy's theme song. She had loved the honky-tonk since the day she'd walked into the joint. 21 years old, broken-down car in the parking lot of the Smokestack restaurant, not even a mile from the honky-tonk, and barely enough gas to get back to Mena, Arkansas. She'd been looking for a phone and some help. What she found was Ruby Lee, a salty old girl, full of spit and vinegar, who'd given her a job and a place to live, and taken her under her wing. Since then, not a single one of the drinkers, smokers, lookers, or even hustlers had taken her eye until that cowboy collided with her and drove her mind straight into the gutter. He's married and has 6 kids and a chain-smoking mother who lives with him in a double-wide trailer. Chigger, the honky-tonk's equivalent of a hooker, caught her eye and winked. Daisy picked up her step and barely beat Chigger to the tall cowboy. "What'll it be?" Daisy asked. Chigger leaned forward on the bar, shoving 4 inches of cleavage and a big smile so close to his face that his eyes crossed. "Name it, darling, and I'll provide it." "Coors," he said. He didn't want the hooker to provide anything. Now, if that bartender offered... Well, his heart skipped a beat just thinking about what he'd name in that case. "Tap or bottle?" Daisy asked. "Tap is fine. Is it good and cold?" Daisy nodded. His voice was so deep it gave her shivers. As if that wasn't enough, he had a dimple in his chin that begged her to lean forward and brush a kiss across. She felt like shutting the place down for a week and spending every moment of it in bed with him. Maybe she'd been standing too damn close to Chigger, and her loose-legged morality had rubbed off on her. The woman's heels were so round that all a fellow had to do was push her and she fell backwards, dragging him down on top.